the assumption is that most Islamists are Muslim. If not, probably all of them are.
It's an
Do you get the point?
assumption, yes, but
Yeah.
I would never go to a primarily Muslim place. And I've seen it happen before where there's been like a terrorist attack, and then people will ask Muslims to somehow justify, like, why did this happen? Why did your beliefs cause this? I think that's completely wrong.
I understand,
And I would never do
but
that
it's not
because
illegitimate.
It perpetuates a type of hate.
No, I get you.
And a type of isolation.
Can I add something? It's not sociologically illegitimate. Now the point is this: is that if as a sociologist, a social scientist, an investigative journalist, I wanted to assess Jewish attitudes towards the state of Israel, that
If you want to film them,
no,
and then put them on the
No,
YouTube,
but let me-
you should have seen some of the comments underneath your video.
fine,
Like,
but
they're all evil, they're all devil.
let's be fair, right? I'm saying I don't believe it's illegitimate to question or discuss with or interview anybody from any group, whether that's Muslim, whether that's Jewish, whether that's Caribbean or anything. I think that's a completely legitimate thing. I think what we have to focus on here, if you don't mind me just adding, is not just the fact that I interviewed them, but let's be honest, let's focus on the fact that what they said. Some of them saying that the children killed themselves, some of them saying is that Afghanistan.
There were two people that made like
Fine.
inappropriate
No,
comments.
but these are
from
sentiment.
the whole
Okay.
time that you were
But
there.
is it Becky?
Susie.
Sorry, I apologise. Lots of people I've been discussing with today. Susie, listen. We have you say a lot of reasonable things, and I agree with you so much. However, what I want to say to you is this: part of the problem is that we have to understand that there is a problem in the first place.
There's definitely a problem.
And I'll tell you what problem it is. Okay, if you don't mind, you can agree or disagree.
Okay, fine.
But this problem is it's not only in the state of Israel, but it's also in Jewish communities as well. That you do have racism, okay? Racism not just towards people of other faith groups or nationalities or ethnic backgrounds, but you have racism within Jews to themselves. For example, Ashkenazi Jews and Sephardic Jews. These things are well documented in Jewish newspapers like Haaretz. What I'm saying to you is this, sorry, I don't want to take too much of your time, but what I'm saying is this, Susie. What I'm saying is, if there are cultural issues that relate to our respective communities, it's not fair for us to try and brush those under the carpet. If I stood here in front of you here and said that there is not a radicalization problem in the Muslim community, there's not some number of people that decide that they want to. If I said that, I wouldn't be helping public discourse. I wouldn't be helping my community and also the wider British community. I think that we do have to stand up and say, look, in the Jewish community, there are people who are pro Israel.
In all communities.
And some who's anti.
in all communities,
Friend was trying to say that you took that opportunity away from the community by carrying it out in the way that you did.
Yeah,
You
on
chose-
Shabbat.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So where there would have been people that would have agreed with you, and those viewpoints should have been held to bridge that gap between the Muslim and Jewish community, you took that away.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
well, can I
I
add something to
feel
this?
like that video really
Right.
perpetuates
Now, let me be honest with you, right?
polarization.
I think that an honest.
That perpetuates the idea that's going
No, I
on.
understand.
Could I just ask a question?
No, but let me just add one more thing before. Yeah, you can, of course. But let me just. What I want to say is this: any real progress that we're going to make as communities together, the Jewish community and the Muslim community. And by the way, I don't think that they're equal in the sense that the Jewish community is an ethnic, religious grouping, whereas the Muslim community is a multicultural grouping. So it's not ethnic versus ethnic. But anyway, for the sake of argument, let's just use those terms. The Muslim community and the Jewish community. If we're going to make progress in these lands, which can hopefully permeate to other parts of the world, we do need to kind of get the elephant out of the room sometimes. And I believe that what my job is, as someone who represents the Muslim community, is not to present a false image of reality. This is my conclusion, okay? My conclusion is that just as there are different opinions on different matters in the Muslim community, there are different opinions and attitudes in the Jewish community, and some of them are sometimes theologically justified, sometimes they are politically justified, sometimes they are racially justified. And if we don't realize that sometimes you have Jewish people, like Haaretz, always the newspaper of the left in Israel, comments that there is racism in Israel.
We
Okay.
don't deny that there's
Right. So so what needs to
No,
happen?
there's
Nor
not.
are we saying to
What
brush it
I'm
under the
saying
carpet.
is that, look, I've been in a strange situation where I've actually lived in Ramallah and I've lived in Israel. I've actually lived in two different places.
Interesting,
The,
yeah.
the thing that I know that really helps with kind of bringing people together in a situation is when you have open dialogue between the two. I don't think you can create open dialogue by doing something as provocative as going into a community that you know is predominantly Jewish on their day of rest, erecting the screen, comparing the killing of Palestinians to the Holocaust, and expect people to like willingly and openly engage with that. It's a very provocative way to do it, but there are better ways to actually like get people together and talk to each other. And I don't think that is the right way.
Just on that point, I mean, I think this Israel-Palestine issue obviously has been going on for many years, yeah? And from my personal take, I'm not representing him or anybody else, representing myself, yeah? So it comes and goes, yeah? So every time the issue actually occurs in Palestine, everybody talks about it. And when it kind of simmers down in the media, then everybody just carries on and just moves on. So my only question is, basically from what I'm understanding from what you're saying is, you in many ways feel disempowered that he came into that particular area to do what he did, and he didn't give you the chance to speak up in the way you wanted to. Is that correct?
I think he just didn't portray things in the right, he didn't go about things the right way.
Okay, no problem. So then my only question is this then, is that, and there's nothing wrong in saying it, but I suppose the real question is this then, is that because you know the elephant is in the room, yeah. You know what? There's no. It's not like we don't know what's happening. It's been going on for a long time. Whether you want to call it religious or political, there is a issue there, yeah. The question I would always ask is, is that very simply put, from your perspective, it'll be interesting to see and know what is it that you have done as a community to engage the Muslim community on an issue like this over the last 20 years.
Well, I'm from a very unique position. I've worked in Ramallah, like on a...
No, not you specifically, but you understand my point.
Oh,
like,
we have lots of organisations, like in Judaism, that actually work towards trying to bring the two sides together.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is that what you'll find is, and feel free to look into this, yeah, is that other than people that have clear anti-Zionist views, yeah, and I'm not getting into the whole anti-Israel, anti-Zionism, just anti-Zionist view, then they will stand on this side of pro-Palestinian. That's not a problem because there's really nothing to, you know, make cohesion with, because you agree, isn't it? Once you agree, you agree. Those that disagree, yeah, which is, as you said, the wider community, whichever area it was, I don't know, I'm not from London, sorry, yeah? What have they done over the last 25 years to really step up, yeah, and engage the Muslim community? It'll be interesting to see, one, if they have done anything, and two, if they haven't, why?
But likewise, it works both ways.
No, I'm happy to mention from this side, but...
Yeah.
Obviously, because you came forward and you felt that it wasn't right. Yeah. And you know what, to be honest, I may agree with you. I might say, Mohammed Hijab, you were wrong in the way you did it. Yeah. But the question is now, is that let's get past that point and let's talk about what is it that Jewish community have done in the last 25 years on this issue to engage.
I mean, as Mohammed pointed out, the Jewish community is made up of a lot of different,
and I'm good at that.
So lots of different communities have done different things depending on like where you are.
But have they really? This is the question. You probably don't know, but do go back, yeah, because you know, for me, I understand there's a level of emotion there, and I appreciate that. Naturally, you know, and I'm sure when the Muslims talk about the Palestine issue, there's a level of emotion. I just have a very little heart, so you know, I'm emotionless most of the time. But one thing I would say though is that having that emotional conversation is not a problem. But once you get past that, let's start getting down to the actual real deal. What's actually happening? Yeah. And I would encourage you to check really and truly, because you know there's a lot of things that have happened between Jews and Muslim communities, yeah? Yeah. All the way to the parliament. There's always meetings, there's always sessions, all sorts, interfaith dialogue. Yeah. I have no problem with that. However, what has happened and what have the Jewish community ever done to engage the Muslim community on the issue of Israel and Palestine, even if they disagree with them? What have they done in a country like Britain, where we should have more dialogue, we can disagree, and if there's not been, and the only reason I can think of, if you read history, any country that avoids dialogue usually is a dictatorship, yeah? And it's interesting, I'm not saying we're in a dictatorship, but if we maintain that mindset and not engage in that dialogue, why not? Because remember, dialogue always comes from a position of power. Person down here cannot go and have a discussion with the person up there. Yeah.
So to be fair to Susie, she's come today and she started a dialogue. So I do commend you for that, right?
This is the thing. Like I firmly believe that the only way that you get to a solution is to talk between like different groups
Yeah,
of people.
I agree.
But like at the end of the day, what is it I want to see? What is it that a lot of people here want to see? A solution between the Israel and Palestine conflict. I don't think that going into Golders Green on Shabbat and like
Yeah, fine,
Jewish
fine.
people,
I
there's
appreciate where you're coming
solutions
from.
to that, and that's my main
Look,
point
I
here.
get what
I'm
you're
a
saying.
solutions-driven
Can I say? Can I make
person,
another point then?
But
Yeah.
the issue
Yeah, go on.
of Palestine is also, it's not a primarily Jewish versus Muslim thing.
Yes, of course.
It's a humanitarian issue.
Right.
So why are we creating a further divide? Yes, obviously I understand that religion plays a big proportion of this, right? But if you look back in the history, it was a political matter.
Yes.
The way that it was created, the way that, after the Second World War, it was created, right?
You would agree with that as well?
Yeah,
It's
of
a
course, of
political
course.
issue
No,
that
I don't.
people are
Yeah.
creating it to
Look,
become more.
what was your name
religious.
again,
It's Ria.
Ria. All right, so you make a good point. I agree with you that it's not
Yeah.
intrinsically religious, it's theological. And I commend you for coming and starting a dialogue between Muslims and Jews, or Muslims and pro-Zionists, or however you define yourself. Here's what I would say though, okay? I think the non-negotiables have to be put on the table. Like, if I'm negotiating with anyone, even if it's a family member, the first thing I speak to them about is terms, what are my non-negotiables, okay? That's how I start, okay? These are my red lines. I can't really go beyond that. And I'm sure you're the same. We all have boundaries that we put with our loved ones or people that we...
Relationship counselling.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Having said that, right, these are the non-negotiables as it relates to us. If you want to start a productive conversation between Muslims and pro-Israelis, Zionists, or whatever, I think we do have to start with the big elephant in the room, which is, let's talk about the civilian death. Let's talk about the 266 people that have been killed.
Yeah, I mean,
On both sides.
Right. No. But let's talk about the fact that
it's
is.
not competition.
No, of course. But let's talk about the fact that when Israel detonates a bomb in Gaza, the most densely populated place in the world, 2 million people, that there's a 75% or more chance that will land on a civilian, yet they continue doing it.
And I'm open to that dialogue. I'm just questioning the way that you approach that.
Now, listen, for example, if I start speaking about an organization, say Takfiri organization or ISIS or Al-Qaeda or something like that, who make it clear that, all right, what we're doing is X, and their actions show that they actually target civilians, or their actions murder mostly civilians. If I start speaking like that, I don't think anyone would want to have a productive dialogue with me, because the truth of the matter is, they'll say, look, you're a radical, you're a terrorist, you don't actually have a place in society, this is hate speech. No, I do believe that, and in fact, we have hate speech laws that prevent me from saying that anyway, right? So the point is that we think, and this is the first order of business, we think that there has been a misapplication as it relates to minority rights, and there has been preferential treatment given to one community over another. We're both minority groups. However, the truth of the matter is, when it comes to Hamas, it's a terrorist organization. Why? Because it's detonating missiles which are killing not even 10% amount of people that Israel is killing. So if by the same logic, why is Israel not a terrorist organization? I don't understand it. So the point is this, both Israel and Hamas are saying we're not trying to kill those people, but one is designated as a terrorist organization and the other is not. I am saying this is the elephant in the room. If someone comes to me and says, well, actually we disagree with the fact that 266 people have been killed, 66 of them have been children, okay, and we disagree with the policies and we condemn the policies of the Israelis, in so much as...
Israeli government.
Yes, of course, Israeli government. When I say America, that's my assumption if I'm talking politically. I'm not talking about the population, yeah. Just to make that very clear, and thank you for making that clearer. The point is, if we started like that, I think there'll be much more fruitful conversation. The truth of the matter is, I have to be totally honest. If someone doesn't start like that with me, and someone says, you know what, I condone or I justify, I don't really want to have a conversation with those people anyway. And I have to be honest, because someone who says, well, actually Israel are justified in basically pressing buttons and detonating and killing children, I say, to be honest, there's not really a conversation I can have with you. It's as good as Anjem Chowdhury coming here and saying, well, these guys are justified in going onto that bus and blowing it up. Do you see the point? I cannot, at that point, we say, look, we cannot really have a negotiation. We can't talk. There's no bridges that we can build. And to you, you're...
What is the purpose if you're saying that you can't have a negotiation?
No. I'm telling you that... No. Let's be very careful and be very clear. There are some members of the Jewish community who candidly condemn, okay, the stuff that's going on in Palestine, at least in saying that what happened there is unjust. What happened there is condemnable. What happened there with children crying, going to their parents, crying to their...
No one wants to see that.
No,
There's Jewish
not just,
person,
not
no
just.
Zionists who would say that
no,
they enjoy watching that.
Not just no one wants to see that. The actions that the Israeli government have committed are actions of terror, actions that are unjustified, they are disproportionate. When someone comes to me with that kind of discourse, I can say, you know what, you're a reasonable person. And we can have a discussion. But if
Only if they say what you want to hear.
No.
Yes.
No.
No. These are non-negotiables. I'm sure you have your own. If I come here and start saying something to the effect of being anti-Semitic, if I start saying like Jewish people are below me or something like that, you might say, you know what? To be honest, your level of discourse is not that. It's not good enough for me to engage with. I don't want to have a conversation with you.
As in, you want fruitful discourse.
Yeah. No. What I'm saying is, I don't want to have any discourse for anybody who justifies or acts as an apologist for a terrorist state.
So how were you expecting fruitful discourse coming into Golders Green and then just like
No.
randomly trying to get
I'm not
people
saying
to
I'm
you had a
expecting
big,
fruitful discourse. I'm not.
screen.
I'm not.
So what did you want?
No, what I wanted to do
That's what it was
is
to
no,
do.
I wanted to have. It's just like any sociological investigation. Going to Golders Green. Let me tell you something very carefully. Golders Green is not a no-go area in this country. Number one.
I know.
Golders Green is just the same as Oxford Street or Marble Arch or Speaker's Corner. Jews do not own Golders Green.
I never said
Yeah, no. I think there's a feeling that you own the place. You don't own it. No, sorry, no.
Sorry, she didn't say that.
No. Why not? Why not? Why is it no-go area? It's-
No,
with all due respect.
You wouldn't go on Jummah, for
It's-
example.
why not?
To ask a
Go.
Muslim about
No.
their
I disagree with that. I think it's
opinions.
fully
Like,
legitimate.
respectful.
If you wanted to speak to a Muslim
You
audience,
say about talking about going to
no,
a
you
table.
wanna be
Come
exempt
over.
from social inquiry, and I'm saying no one is exempt
No,
from
I
that.
don't think
I'm
so.
saying
Yes,
there
you
are
are.
better ways to
You-
go
you-
about.
it's basically this. You don't want to be exposed. Basically, there's a community of pro-Zionist people that don't want to be exposed for their vicious and racist views, and when we
That's
go,
your conclusion. From going in on Shabbat
yeah, it's
and
my
having people not
it's not only my
speak
conclusion.
to you.
No, not based on that. Actually, the peace index. I've already. If you look at my refutation of Ben Shapiro, the first one I made, I give pure evidence from Israeli universities that show the level of racism in Israel. This is the elephant in your room. It's not even in our room. You cannot. No one can claim that Islam is a racist religion. It's the most multicultural religion in the world. Here's the difference between Islam and Judaism.
Sorry, but you've assumed that I'm Jewish. I'm actually Muslim, so how are you
I don't
saying-
know.
But how
I haven't
you
spoken
say
to you.
said your community.
No.
So how you
I wasn't
say-
talking to you.
No, you've included me.
Could I ask a question?
I don't know if you're Muslim
So
or
you're
not.
assuming that you're saying it's not a race, but you
I think-
assumed
yeah.
a lot in the
Sorry.
conversation.
No, I haven't assumed that you're Jewish.
Sorry, but you have.
Sorry,
you
Ahmed.
have.
No.
You have,
Okay,
like,
if you're Muslim, well done to you. Okay, no problem.
but what
I'm saying the
you is a
difference
fair
between
dialogue.
the difference between Islam and Judaism is Judaism or Jewishness is an ethno-religious construction, whereas Islam is a religion.
Well, I'm a convert.
Okay, nevertheless, it's no problem. You can just make anything you want. You can say whatever you want. There's no way of
Technically,
verifying.
it's not.
Look,
Okay, sure.
okay, no problem. The point of the matter is, it is Jewishness can be described as ethnic and it can be described as religion. People that call themselves Jewish do so on two different grounds. Whereas Muslims, they don't. When you're a Muslim, you're not saying you're an Arab. You're just saying that these are the theological beliefs that I have. That's the difference. Now, what I'm saying is this: that there are certain specific things which are problematic in our community. We admit that, and we have to be ready to deal with that. Radicalism, suicide bombing, all of that stuff. There are stuff that go on. We can't say it doesn't exist.
But would you not feel upset if like people came into a
That's
very
the motive.
predominantly Muslim
Right. It doesn't matter if I feel
area?
upset or not, because the truth of the matter is, it's completely legitimate. If someone, if a sociological investigation
It's not
was,
a sociological.
Well, I'm just
issue,
saying.
then, like, you're using a platform
No,
to
so what?
represent, to represent
So what?
a disproportionate
Why is it
nature,
illegitimate?
Because you're doing it on a day specifically when
So what?
people would not want to talk to you.
But what they did
People
talk.
like Susie, people
But they
like
did talk.
Susie's come up to you today to have a
Becky,
say.
is it
right?
Becky?
No, it's Ria.
Sorry, Ria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people like Susie will have something to say to you, but you've actually completely taken them off by the day in which you've done it. That was the
All
whole
right.
point.
So
of
let me
our
ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You're, okay. No, hold on.
She said the opposite thing, though.
Ahmed, please. Let me just finish this
So
song.
the opposite thing.
Hold on. No, just hold on for a second. Hold on for a second. Here's what we say. Point number one, not every Jew is an Orthodox Jew. In fact, according to the Knesset, only 20% representation exists for the Shas, which are Orthodox Jews. In fact, the majority of polls show that the majority of Jewish...
That's ultra orthodox.
No. The majority of Jewish people do not identify as Orthodox Jew. So what you've done is you're talking about assumptions. You've assumed that all Jewish are Orthodox. No, you have Reform Jews, you have secular Jews, you have Jews from different backgrounds.
Many of which would
Now,
want to
point one,
engage
point
on
one. Sorry.
Shabbat.
So keep mentioning Sabbat. It doesn't matter because.
But not everyone practices.
No,
This is
let
like
me finish,
hate,
please.
and
Let me
this is
finish.
like hate.
Let me
You're
finish.
assuming
Let me.
that people practice in the same
Let
way.
me
Why can't
finish.
people
Let
not?
me finish. It doesn't matter if I came on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday.
It does.
No, it does not. There's no legalities behind me not coming on Saturday. No law says I can't go on Saturday. I can go on whatever day I like and whatever place I like.
It's about your
You just change
intention.
your
It doesn't matter what my intention is. This is the truth. The truth is, you are just embarrassed. That's the truth. That the stuff that came out came out. Let me ask you a question. Do you condemn the man who said that the children killed themselves?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, now do you condemn the Israeli government?
To a certain extent, yes.
Not to an extent. What extent is that?
To the extent that they obviously have more power, so they need to be like,
Oh, see, now you're flowery with your words.
No. It's an interesting point. Can you just pick up on that?
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
actually
yeah.
believe that there's a disproportionate?
yeah, I believe
Do
that.
you do that? Because, like, for
Is
example,
there-
everybody talks about the
Yeah.
Iron Dome.
Yeah.
Do you actually know the defense mechanism of Israel? Because we
Yeah,
know
of course, I know
Hamas
about
are
that.
the
I know.
SA-5 missiles.
Good, so you condemn.
What for Israel? What are the defense mechanisms? Quickly, three. They have three.
What, Iron Dome?
Iron Dome, and then David Sling, and then Arrow 1, 2, and 3. Iron Dome, short-term missiles. David Sling, mid-term missiles. Arrow 1, 2, and 3. 2 in this atmosphere. Arrow 3 is out of atmosphere, where they can take out any long-range missiles.
Okay.
There's no
like,
discussion
I mean, I
about
said-
anything.
I didn't say that it's not.
No,
This
what
is
I'm saying,
what-
not balance of
Yeah.
power. What I'm saying is,
And
first of
what
all, no, you know what you said? You said that he came and he's basically destroyed the ability for conversation. But yeah, because of him coming, you're here.
No,
It's the opposite. You came to converse with him because of what he did.
Okay, but on his platform, he's showcasing something that's not proportionate.
Yeah, but it's
to
not
the opinion.
accurate.
All right,
okay,
And you
what's
agree
not-
with
what's
us
not
that
accurate?
she
No,
did.
no.
Right, exactly. You agree with us that earlier that wasn't the right way to carry out. If you're there for a dialogue,
No,
I don't
talk
agree.
about the
you
main
what he
issue.
need to talk about with people that have different opinions, not people that will come up to you and you're saying that, oh, they're not all Orthodox Jews. So are you saying that everyone practices in the same way?
No.
Because I'm pretty sure they
No,
don't.
No, the
Right,
dialogue's
exactly.
one sided.
No.
So, yeah.
I don't think you understand where I'm coming from here.
Yeah.
On my channel, if you're talking about my YouTube channel, right? I have different discourses. I have a video of an ultra-Orthodox, Hasidic Orthodox Jew, because you've got Haredi, Hasidic, you've got different things. Being pro-Palestine, I put up a video talking about how Islam is inherently cannot be anti-Semitic because the Prophet married a Jewish woman and for other reasons that we believe in the Jewish prophets, and so therefore attacking them for their Jewishness is tantamount to blasphemy. So I have these things. I try and educate my community on not to be anti-Semitic. But what you need to do is you need to now take a stance like I have taken with my community, with yours. You need to now, what you've said,
But
if you don't mind, hold on.
This is the thing.
So-
if you look under your video, there's so many anti-Semitic comments.
Okay,
Like,
I'm not controlled of the comments.
Exactly. So you
No,
hold
no,
your
you
hands
can't-
up, you
no,
make
no,
a
no, no.
video that's
No,
open
are
on
you
it, and you say,
labeling
actually,
what
no,
you said
No, no, I'm not-
It's
no,
fine. I
hold on.
can't control those
No,
comments.
he said
It's
comments.
not my
No,
responsibility.
my comments are not my. I can't. They're not my
It's
comments.
what people interpret from your video.
All right, no, please.
People
I don't.
interpret
That means nothing to me. All I say is this: I'm speaking now of somewhat. Do you interpret what I'm saying is anti-Semitic?
No, I didn't say that.
Good.
But I'm trying to have a dialogue with you.
Right,
and
what
I
I'm
think
saying
you're
to you-
becoming very aggressive
Oh,
about.
I'm not
the
trying to be
approach.
aggressive. Honestly, I really am not. What I'm trying to say to you, Susie, is this. What I'm trying to say to you is, what you've done there is a very gallant step and a brave step and a very commendable step that you've come to me today, all three of you. And I do welcome this kind of discourse, honestly. That you've come and done two things which I have to commend you for. Number one, that you've come and approached me, okay, which I appreciate and I welcome. And number two, that you've condemned the Israeli government for what they've done in terms of killing civilians. Now, I think that we should build from this in terms of relationship. And what we should say is this, that just as you have been able to condemn the Israeli government for what they've done in Gaza and in other places, in the West Bank and the settlements and all that, I'm not sure if you agree with that or disagree with it. Maybe I should ask you, in fact, what do you think of what's going on in Sheikh Jarrah?
I'm very against what's going on.
Okay, good. So we have a lot
It's
to
not about that. My initial point was I came to you very upset that I saw a video on YouTube.
Fine.
of
I
you
see
coming
where you're coming
into-
from.
to go
So
on
okay,
to
let's.
Shabbat.
I don't want to make you upset,
Yeah.
Susie. I don't want to make you upset, Ria. What's your name? Khaya. I don't want to make any of you upset. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. Okay. We are gonna make a video together right now. Okay. And it's gonna be the counterbalance for that video. And what I'm gonna say is this. I'm going to make it very, very clear to the Muslim audience, and not just to the Muslim audience, but to the international audience that I have, okay, that, number one, and tell me if you like this, if it's to your liking, if it's not to your liking, tell me what you think I should add, and then we can have a discussion. Number one, not all Jewish people are the same. Jewish people are not a monolithic entity, and in fact, I want to say something that the Quran even mentions that. Just to let people know, and I'm giving theological justification here. The Quran says, "Min ahl al-kitab man in ta'manhu bidinarin biqintarin yu'addihi ilayk." If you give, there's some people from the Jews and Christians who, if you give a hoard of treasure to them, he'll give it back to you. In other words, you can trust them. وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ إِنْ تَأْمَنْهُ بِدِينَارٍ لَا يُؤَدِّهِ إِلَيْكَ. And some of them is that if you give them one coin, they'll never give it back to you. In other words, there are different types of Jews and Christians. They're not all the same. Some of them are very trustworthy. Some of them are very loyal. Some of them are very respectful. And the same message, the same message is given about Muslims. منهم مقتصد منهم ظالم لنفسه ومنهم سابق بالخيرات. Some of them are middle balance, some of them are very good, and some of them are oppressive to themselves. The point is that from what I understand in the Quran, is that essentialism or a sweeping generalization of a community is something that the Quran warns against. And so I say to you today, and to your community, I put this as a message to the Muslim community, that do not, and I'm speaking to the cameras directly, and tell me if it's your liking, because you've come and done something which I think is very gallant and very brave and respectful. And in fact, so much I think the Muslims should give you a round of applause for it.
So.
Yes, please. I think everyone should give it up because they have condemned the actions of Israel. They have spoken the truth. She doesn't like what's happening, Sheikh Jarrah. She said to me, look, but on the other hand, she has her own concerns. She said, when I came on Golders Green, I say, look, you're right. Maybe I was not, I'll be honest, I'll be totally honest, I didn't even know that it was a Sabbath. I forgot. I totally forgot. That's my. No, honestly. We went to other places. I want to be honest with you. We didn't even. Did you think about it? We didn't even remember. Honestly. So here's what I'll do for you, and for the Jewish community at home. Turn around so we can all be saying it together. No. Okay, you don't want to turn around. It's fine. So look, to the Orthodox Jews who have opinions like these, who are moderates and who are reasonable, and I apologize for coming on Sabbath day. I give you an apology from me to you. And this is an olive branch. Now, I don't want to create tension between our communities. And if it caused anybody who is reasonable, like these three young ladies here, to be upset, then we apologize for that. That's not the intention, honestly.